Untamed is going to be untamed. It's going to be a little crazy. I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
Oh, hot dog, look at you.
And nobody talked about what's really happening.
And let's have conversations about what truth is. Well, welcome back. Happy Monday. It is Monday, October 13th. And we have let's go ahead and bring Tommy in. We got to at least have him in here for the hello kitty. I don't know if it's kitty, but we'll say hello. Tommy, welcome to the show. Kind of.
I'll take it.
Probably did.
I'll take it. So I'll take any affection I can get.
I get you a wife.
I know.
Anybody's looking to marry a dashing young man, it's Tommy. Tommy can we'll give you his resume.
Yeah, no, right.
It's gonna be crazy today. It's we're gonna take back Columbus Day. Today is Columbus Day. Are you ready for to take back Columbus Day?
Sure.
And so I want to talk a little bit about that for a minute. He basically, I don't understand how you take that away from him. They make up all sorts of things about him, but here's a guy that went across the ocean in a boat that is the size of some of our small boats, not a big boat. And they say that he's just this bad guy, but you have to be a little bit crazy back then. And we would have nothing. We would have, a lot of the things we've had, we wouldn't have without Christopher Columbus. Would we?
No.
So I'm saying we should take it back. We should probably take it back.
Well, you can see it in real time, just in my short life. I mean, you can look back at the early 2010s, kind of that whole, 2010, 11, 12, Reddit, Elon Musk is untouchable. He wants the electric cars. He's for freedom, and he's our guy. He's going to get us off this planet. We can't be a single planet species. We have to be multiplanetary. Everything he is just and rightfully so, is just like this condensed aura of like what we should be focused on, as opposed to, we were in the middle of the war in Iraq at the time. And you can see in a couple short years, just because he backed a president that they don't like, it's not that he's just not on a pedestal anymore. He is now derided as a Nazi. He is nothing. He got lucky and learned how to land rockets upright, and he's nothing more than that. So if you can see that in 10 years in real time, we'll extrapolate that over 500-600. How much do you think you can slander someone and character assassinate them? You could pretty much do anything.
It's you turn on the favor. I don't think it's that the public had turned on the favor of Elon. I think it had more to do with the fact that the media is really the sharp stick. It is the thing that is used by the call them the bad guys, the wizard behind the curtain, to hold people in line and to cancel people. So two things happen. One, we have President Trump just got done inking a Middle East peace deal. And the phase one was the release of 1,900 Palestinians. Ceasefire was locked in, and the IDF is pulling back amid aid flood. So people are coming in to give people and Palestinians some food aid. But here's a concern I have. Netanyahu hails Trump as Israel's ultimate ally, pushing for the highest Israeli award. I want to separate. I was talking to my friend Lamont yesterday. You can't in the same sentence say that all Jews are bad because of Bibi or the Bibi, the synagogue of Satan people, and then say, and I said it to Lamont. I was like, well, am I supposed to hold the same to be true? That if that's true, then all black people are bad because of the guy that killed the woman on the train, right? You can't do it. You can't do it. Or that all Hispanics are bad because of, the math doesn't add up. And so you have to individually hold people accountable, or that collective group. If you have a fraternity of gang members that like MS-13 that's out there raping and murdering, then you can say if you're an MS-13, there are no good MS-13 members. There just aren't. Sorry, you get lumped in there. But I think the problem that I have with Bibby himself is that the guy is he's a psychopath. Killed a lot of people. So anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about that, but then we're going to talk about Gabe. So Gabe is joining us, and by the way, I'm not self-loathing, just so we're clear, Tommy. Meaning I'm partially Jewish. So I don't want to. I'm not going to bang on people that are Jewish. I think that's the problem, is that you have people on both sides. One that says Jews are bad.
But you do whatever you want.
No. So do you want to introduce Gabe?
Well, yeah. Well, so he's
a comic legend.
Yeah, I had him on a couple of weeks ago, and I think in shortest, what I think was most fascinating is, in the same way that anybody that knows Joe, your primary focus, the vision is on, ballot harvesting, election machines, mail-in ballots, because everything else are just the leaves and the twigs and the outreaches of what we can change. Sure, it's good to seal up the border. Sure, it's good to, blow up boats with fentanyl on it. All things I think are good, and not sarcastically. But at the core, the real thing that matters the most is the ability for the will of the people to put leaders in. Because once you have that, you don't have to rely on a Trump or any great man theory. You don't have to rely on a once in a lifetime person. The average person can put in the person you want. And if you remove the ability for people to have their vote, there will always be fraud. But if you can remove it to the point where the fraud is negligible, that is how that will fix more than anything ever could, because it's the will of 300 million people, all with diverse lifestyles and with self-preservation instincts. So that's kind of at the core of it. Whereas everything else, it's good to deal with, but these are all outgrowths of it. So to tie that into Gabe, I thought it was interesting, because when he and I first started talking, he made it very clear immediately, like he had no comics and super kind of Joseph Campbell, the hero's journey. These are the things that we pick up as kids. Even, my parents, they didn't let us rot in front of TV all day, every day, but even just an hour a day. I don't think much of it. I look back at like SpongeBob or Hey Arnold or King of the Hill, but man, imagine if those things were weaving in things. Back then, there was nothing, but imagine if it was weaving in, hey, you're not good for being white, or maybe you're not really a boy, or on and on and on.
Today.
Well, so that's what I
it'd
mean.
be identical.
It's insidious, and that's why I think Gabe's kind of cool, because I think it's a parallel to you, in that it's go right to the source, and that's what he stood on. But I don't want to put words in his mouth. Bring Gabe in and have him introduce himself.
Gabe, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me, Joe. Tom, it's good to see you again. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm very excited to talk about this. I feel at times when I talk about entertainment, movies, television, comic books is what I specialize in. I feel a bit like Noah building the ark for hundreds of years, and everyone's like, dude, you're nuts. It's not going to flood. It's not going to flood. Then it floods. Everybody drowns. He's like, I've been telling you guys forever. And entertainment media is the religion of the world, specifically the West. It's the most important thing to solve all of this, of what we can affect. And most people don't see that. It goes right over their head because they're born in it. They're immersed and ensconced in it their whole life. And it's like, I've heard a story once. It was just a little like anecdote parable. Two young fish, like young kid fish, are swimming by, and an old timer fish swims by the little boy fish and says, "Oh, water's great today." And the two young fish look at each other and go, "What the hell is water?" Because they were born in water. They don't know what being wet is, because they don't know what being dry is. And I think all of this entertainment, music, movies, books, comics, internet, social media, people are just born in it and have been born in it forever. There's always been entertainment for all of human history. But this mass media entertainment is just there, like that water. And when you tell people how insidious and influential it is, at first they don't get what you're saying, because it's as normal as the water that the fish swim in. I make it for a living. I've been studying, I've been drawing since I was probably 3 or probably younger. And I've wanted to be an artist my whole life, and I am a very successful one. So I know how the sausage is made. So, and I'm here to tell you, it's the most important thing in culture. And people, and especially conservatives, are the worst about art and entertainment. We'll get into why that is.
So let's talk about this for a minute. You actually got canceled, and I don't think everyone understands the significance of this. You didn't get canceled, you got fired. You left. You left Disney.
Get fired. No, I quit.
Yeah, no, he wasn't fired.
I quit. See, there's principle on my side here. So there are less people making a good living doing comics than there are in the NFL or the NBA. Now, you would say if you're in the baseball, basketball, football, you're elite. You worked your ass off. Okay, so take that to comics. There's even less of us that make a good living, work on Superman, Star Wars, Batman. I worked on that since I was a little boy, made it, worked on those things, Transformers, Batman, you name it, I did it. And then they just started to get really woke, and in mid, like Obama's second term, everything changed. 2013 is the line of demarcation to me.
Well, that's right after 2012. 2012 was the passing of the Smith-Mundt Modernization Act of 2012, right? So that's when it all started. That's when they were allowed to lie to the people.
Yeah, well, it started in the 1800s with the Bolsheviks, but it blossomed in the 2013. The flowers finally bloomed. They
had the tools. They had the tools.
Yeah, but it's been going for the better part of 100 years in the West. Complete assault on Christendom and patriotism and fathers and family. And it's done through the media. The communists talk about this in their literature, the long march through the institution. So let me get back to, I was not fired. I was not canceled. I stood on principle and quit. They said, we're doing a new Superman comic, and he's ditching his patriotic stuff. Ugh, horrible. He's going to, no more truth, justice, in the American way. That's not the slogan. It's truth, justice, and a better world. And also, we're going to explore the sex life of his bisexual underage son. And I said, we are not going to do that. You are going to do that. I don't do stuff like that. And it's not because anyone's bisexual, gay, whatever, trans, whatever. You're an adult. You have the relationships you want. I'm not going to stop anyone. It's their sex. I don't want sex in a comic book. That's not why I became a comic artist and writer. I don't want to do that. And then further, it's the anti-patriotic stuff. You know what I mean? I don't. And then third and most important, I would say the character's underage. I'm definitely not doing that. They're a high schooler. I'm not doing that. So I resigned. I said, I'll finish my contracts. I'll honor the contracts, finish the last few issues, this, that, and the other. And I spoke about it in public, and they got really mad and said, hey, you know what? You don't have to finish those last ones. And, you're done. Don't worry about it. And then they weren't going to pay me out my contract. And I said, hey, that's against the law. And they wanted to get into a staring contest with me. Long story short, I didn't do a bunch of work at the end of the contract, but I got a bunch of money because I was right. And they had to pay me out. So anyway, I went independent, and I formed Big Man Comics, became good friends with other outspoken conservative culture warriors like Tyrus and Dean Cain, and we have our own line of books. I'm the publisher and owner of Big Man Comics, but I'm working on great books, and I just shipped out my latest one, Empyrean, Earth Illuminated. If you love Star Wars, the old Star Wars, not the woke Disney Star Wars, I did a story, just a sci-fi story like that with family at the center and bravery and faith and all that. It's action-packed, it's gorgeous, and all the reviews I'm getting are just positive. Glowing emails, tweets, all that stuff. People love it, and I do good work. I do it on time, and I get it out to the customers. It's crowdfunding online. So you go to bigmancomics.com, you get all my stuff like that. But I recognize, and I've known since I was a little kid, garbage in, garbage out. Your spirit is no different than your body. If I want to sit there
100%.
and eat garbage food all day, I will eventually kill myself. Your spirit's no different. And I had I'm Christian unapologetically. My father's Muslim. So in my family, there was no, we're watching filth. We're watching Married with Children. We're listening to Megadeth. None of that growing up. My mom wouldn't let me watch Scooby-Doo. She didn't like the devil and the ghosts. Nope.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I, and I hate to be a snob, but I will be, unlike the rest of you, I didn't get marinated in this shit for the last 40 years. I can see it. Most of you, to be a snob, are like, what the hell is water? When I tell you guys how evil the music and the movies and the TV are. Like The Simpsons, it's that stuff is quite literally, it's demonic. You can laugh in my face, but when you have a show that just says fathers are idiots and useless, that's an evil message. It's anti-human, it's anti-life. Al Bundy, All in the Family. Oh, it's fun. It's well written, well acted, great costumes, design, artwork. The artists that make this stuff are amazing. Don't think they're bad artists. Their message is evil. And it's insidious, and it's on purpose. because they want to destroy the West and destroy Christendom. They really do. If you want to know, Carl Jung, the great psychologist, I don't believe in everything he says, but he did say, if you want to know the reason someone did something, look at the result. And if you're feeding people stuff like Al Bundy, marriage sucks, dad's a loser and he's unhappy and all this stuff, and you feed them that over and over and over, their subconscious will believe it. And when you believe things, you act on them. And art touches the pattern recognition, the dopamine reuptake in the brain, right? Your brain is built for pattern recognition. Art is just patterns. So when I'm really good at making patterns, because I'm a good artist, I'm a good actor, writer, illustrator, whatever artist I am, when I'm really good at it, you get the dopamine and your brain's like, that's real. Even if it's an evil message, you're like, I see, that is true. Trump really is a fascist. That's why they do the patterns. That's why the rhyming, the jokes, the songs. That's what it's all for.
Or even the repeating stuff when they're at, they'll repeat things over and over and over again. People don't understand the significance of that. You have to say things 5 times, 10 times before you believe it. Right. So I could tell you that unicorns are real and that they come out only at night, and you will go outside looking for that unicorn if I tell you enough times.
And if you're good at telling me, you got to have skill. You know, if you say it to me a million times, but you don't have artistic skill, But if you're a good artist, and this is where conservatives are idiots and losers when it comes to the arts, and they'll still argue with me to this day about it.
This is the problem we have, is that we don't have arts.
Well, this is what I'm about to say. This is what I'm about to say. The conservatives got tricked by the liberals that art is filthy, dirty devil music, Hollywood, blah, blah, blah. We don't go into the arts. We don't have little sons that are fruitcakes that we teach to dance and sing. It's like, okay, so now only leftists are good at it. Do you like where this is going? There's nothing wrong with art. Art is holy. It's a gift from God. And art is not left-wing. And left-wing people are not better at art. That's a lie. That's gaslighting. If you look at the history of art in the entire human world, art is actually inherently conservative. How do I know that with proof? When they dig up old sites, archaeology, what do they find? They find art, pottery, mosaics, paintings, sculptures. Is that art hate the world and the people it's from, or does it love the world that it's from? It always loves it and celebrates it. That's what conservatism is. Art is inherently conservative. Bitter, ugly, resentful communists make art that debases and destroys and undermines the culture that's from out of resentment and jealousy. And that's who's been at the steering wheel for over 100 years now with the communists, the leftists. And I'll shut up. This is your show, but I'm giving you the short version.
This is actually your show, and this is what everybody needs to hear.
The long march through the institutions is a communist concept where you don't need to outnumber anyone. You just need to control the levers of power. So I just need to be the librarian in Oologah, Oklahoma, where everyone's a Christian conservative, but I'm going to have a drag show at the library because I'm the librarian. I just need to become the associate editor at DC Comics so I can hire all my woke friends and make sure we don't hire any conservatives to write or draw.
And that's what they've done.
I need to be a casting director at Paramount so I can make sure that I hire the right writers and actors with my woke message. The levers of power, they get into colleges, they get it, and they don't need to be many. They just need to be the decision maker. And the conservatives, idiots, all of you. We don't do music. We don't do, that's a bunch of hippie shit from California. And, devil. And like, I'm so glad, as Christian as my mother raised me, she knew the arts were important and good. So she didn't say, oh, Gabriel, I don't want you drawing. That's for devil Hollywood people. She wanted me drawing good things. Uplift. I remember I drew like a skeleton shooting someone in the face with a gun when I was a little kid. My dad said, it's good. Why don't you draw something nice, though? So they never discouraged me from being an artist.
All right,
they wanted me to make good, uplifting art. And this is where conservatives are so wrong. We need to raise right-wing, conservative, or at least anti-woke people to sing, to dance, to act, to color and paint and draw and write poetry. We need it because that vacuum will be filled. Human beings will demand entertainment, and you can't cede that cultural battleground, the most important battleground, to the left. And idiotically, conservatives have done that for decades now.
So I have to ask you, I'm gonna take a right turn on you here for a minute, okay? Your mom was Christian, your dad was Muslim.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And your dad looked at you and said, why don't you draw something nice?
Yeah.
Right? I spent 6.5 years in the Middle East and Africa. Shwa Arabiya. I learned Arabic. Do you speak Arabic?
No, I could say shukran.
Shukran.
My parents surprisingly got divorced. because of their religious views. They got divorced when I was little, so I didn't grow up with my dad. I know him. I visit him in the summers, but I was only around him until I was about 8. So I'm Arabic in name only. I don't speak the language. I don't know anything about it. I don't know my family from Africa.
Yeah. Wow. From Africa.
Libya. Tripoli. Libya. That's where my dad's from. Tripoli. Yeah.
Wow. I've been there.
Yeah.
But I bring this up because the value system, and maybe I don't want to get into the dynamics of this, but I often say that people, there's the ethical Muslims, there's the ethical Christians, there's ethical Jews, right? And we try to lump them all together and say, you know, Christians good, Muslims bad. I'm sure you've done business with Christians before that have disappointed you.
100%. Yes.
If they say I'm a Christian first, you run for the door.
No, I judge everyone individually, but and that means I don't just trust you because you say you're a Christian. Talk is cheap. Actions are everything. We'll see. That's how I look at it. We'll see.
Let me see you by your fruits.
Yeah.
So they came in there. They told you they wanted you to do this new comic book series.
Yeah.
And you said, "Yeah, I'm out." Was it? Did you have to think about it? Did you sit there?
Oh yeah. Well, I'll get into that. This is the power of story. And when you see stories and you internalize them because they're well done, you believe them and then you act on them. I was so excited to get the assignment of being one of the artists for Superman. How many people in the history of the world can say they are an artist on Superman? Probably just a few dozen of us.
Right.
That's how hard that is. That's how precious that is. And I got the script and I'm reading it. I'm like, he's got a boyfriend? The underage son? What are we doing? No American way? What are we doing? Superman didn't throw a punch in the first 6 issues because the writer wanted it to be blah, 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 something or other. And I don't know. Whatever, dude.
What kind of writer doesn't have Superman throwing punches?
A super woke guy. He's really woke guy. Anti-American because he's jealous of America. He's not American. He's Australian. He was the writer at the time. He's Tom Taylor, big guy at DC Comics. Anyway, I got it, and I'm like, I don't like this. I'm not comfortable with this. And I'm working on the first couple issues, and it hadn't got into the stuff yet. But I talked to my dad, actually, the Muslim, which I am not. And I said, Dad, look what they want me to do this. I don't want to do that. What do I do? He said, well, you signed a contract. Write them a polite letter. Thank them for the, over 15 years of work, and then just tell them you're out when the contracts are. I said, okay, that's fair. I wrote them an email, and they were gushing, and we loud because I was one of their big guns. I do everything for them. So many books, so much. I'm prolific in my output. I did so many more pages per year than anyone they had. And they're just, oh my gosh, thank you, Gabe. We love working with you. We wish you good luck in your future endeavors, blah, 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 blah. I said, I had other opportunities, is what I told them. And then I was on a podcast and I talked about it openly because I'm not afraid to talk about things. And I just said, yeah, I don't like what they're doing. I think it's shit, this, that, and the other. And then that's when they contacted me and said, hey, you know what? We don't need you to finish after all, blah, blah, blah. And that whole thing I told you where they said they weren't going to pay me. But then I pointed out the California state law that says, you can't do that. I'm legally allowed to espouse my politics and you have to pay me. And sure enough, they, made a huge deposit to me. So that was nice. But backtracking about stories now effective there. Indiana Jones, 1989, The Last Crusade, Sean Connery and Harrison Ford, of course, Jr. Love that movie. In the end, he's going through that, not obstacle course, but the traps inside the temple to get the Grail of Christ.
Right.
And one of the things he has to do is the leap of faith. Jump from the lion's head, and there's that bottomless chasm, right? But it's an optical illusion. There's actually a rock bridge, but you can't see it unless you move sideways because the way they painted it and blah, blah, blah. But he has to just trust God, be the penitent man who trusts God and step out in faith and not fall to his death. And there was a bridge there all along. That's how I felt about quitting DC Comics. I mean, I'm a smart guy. I have a college degree in art, but my resume is a quarter century of being an artist. What kind of job am I going to get? A wife, 2 kids, a mortgage in San Diego, the most expensive city in America, San Diego. Average home here, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,200 square feet. It's $1 million in San Diego. And I'm going to leave my only job that pays very well, 6 figures. I worked a lot. And I said, okay, God, like Indiana Jones stepping out, don't let me fall. I'm going to do this. I'm going to quit. I don't have a plan. I don't have another job really, but I cannot make this filth. No. I quit, been lifted higher than ever. Started my own company, did my own books, met great people that want to promote me and help me. And it's been awesome. It's been the greatest thing in my life because as a little boy who dreamed of making comics, I wasn't making them at DC. I was getting paid to make art, but it wasn't my art. It was their character, their story, their message. And you realize that after the joy of getting the job there wears off, you're like, oh, this isn't mine. Batman doesn't belong to me. I can't just do whatever with him. So that Harrison Ford, Sean Connery, Indiana Jones was a great story. It's very moral for the most part. And it taught me a great lesson as a little boy about stepping out when you're scared and having faith. And I used that story in my head. So when Hollywood teaches all these evil stories about racist, homophobic, white, whatever, Christians are bad, heterosexual men are the worst, you're going to believe it if they're good actors and writers. And you listen to it long enough, you're going to believe it. And I get people that are defiant to me, and they say, no, because I know they're trying to trick me. And I would tell them that's not how propaganda works. Propaganda is not working, persuasion, not propaganda. It's not working in your forebrain. It's not working on your cognition. It's working on the amygdala, the subconscious. That's where it's happening. You can't communicate with that directly with your waking mind. You can only communicate to that part of your brain with experiences, actions, movies, books. And then that subconscious is like, oh, this is true. It's why you jump in a movie when there's a monster. It's a television screen. Why are you jumping? Because your subconscious thinks it's real because the artwork is done correctly. So This is why we cannot let people bathe in filthy music, filthy TV, movies, all that stuff for any time, but like decades. They spend their whole lives bathing in it. Then you wonder why they have the deranged ideas they have. It's intentional. I'll tell you why I know it's intentional. As someone that makes art for a living, I've been typing all morning, the Unstoppable Tyrus sequel. I already finished the first one. It'll come out in January. Every letter I type, I meant to type it. Mm-hmm. Every line I drop, every thousands of lines per page, I put my hand on the page on purpose with the pencil or the pen. I don't throw the pencil and bounce it off the paper accidentally. Every molecule of artwork I make is intentional. It's all deliberate. So every woke message, every white man is evil, Christians are evil, you should leave Christianity, hate your country, infinity immigrants, confuse children about their gender, that's 1,000% intentional because they want the effect it'll have by brainwashing people long enough. And conservatives don't want to get in this fight. We need investors for movie studios, for a comic book company. We need investors for everything. We need customers for everything. We need conservatives to raise kids to be great artists because it takes a lifetime.
Gabe, it's not just the problem is not just art. It's entertainment, it's technology. I mean, look at the technology and the fact that there are more bots. There are more bots on a 10-to-1 average.
Yeah.
On tech platforms than there are people.
Right. And they're influencing.
And they're actually built to tell you things that aren't true. They're built to communicate with you, to create conversations that typically elicits a response emotionally. So one response will be happy. The other response is to piss you off. Right. More of them are out there trying to piss you off and lie to you because the entire system is designed to make you doubt your position so that you don't share your position.
Right. And I would say this, don't in your mind separate art from the bots. Look, just squint your eyes so you can see without the detail, just the big picture. Art is just persuasion. The news is just persuasion. Music, all of it is just persuasion. There's no way to make art without a message because that's all art is, patterns that make a message. Every bit of art is self-expression of a human being, something. You need to be intentional about it. So yeah, those bots, that's art. Or it's a message, and art is a message. It's all persuasion. It's all saying, hey, this is true. And if they execute well, you're going to go, that is true. And then they got you.
So tell us about your project real quick. Can we get into your project?
Yeah, I can share. You want me to share some artwork with you and tell you what I'm working on currently?
Yeah.
Or do they have the website or? Okay, go for that. Okay. Hold on. I didn't hear the last thing you said. It was all muffled. I'm sorry.
You can track it. You can actually share your screen, and we.
Okay, I'll bring that. I'll bring that up here. Yeah.
And then we can just put it.
It's gonna take me like 30 seconds, but I'll bring them up. I should have had it ready. I'm sorry about that. If you guys want to talk amongst yourself for 1 second, I'll grab it really quick. Sorry.
No, you're good. No, I think that's those 2 points. None of it's an accident. None of it's you don't go to the Sistine Chapel. You don't go to a single statue and go, yeah, they didn't mean to do that one part. It's yes, they did. They polished that for a lifetime. And I think that's a brilliant point. All ancient art you find, it's a celebration of where it's from. Roman statues, Greek statues, the pyramids. None of it's look at us, we're so evil. It's all look at the heights we climbed to. Like look at what we did when the glory. Like what is the point of the Sistine Chapel? It's the glory of God. What why do we have cathedrals instead of just like a square room for a church? And it's to capture the mind. It's to all of it is, and that's a good point. All throughout history, none of it's self-hating. None of the Colosseum or none of it is. You don't go to any picturesque and go, oh yeah, the Eiffel Tower. That's meant to make you hate France. Like no, it's like this is us, and that's a brilliant point. Is historically,
to me,
all self-love and conservative.
To me, this is that what the hell is water? Like to me,
David Foster Wallace.
To me, nothing could be more obvious. And I tell people these things, and it's the first time they've ever heard it. I've given so many speeches. I work with San Diego gun owners. I've spoken at colleges, and I talk about art and culture constantly. It's what I talk about when I go and do professional speaking. And I'll tell my conservative audience, how many of you have Disney and Netflix? And they raise their hands. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing? You're giving money to people attacking you, your kids. You're giving them money, and then they use it to attack your culture directly. What are you doing? And you see in their eyes, it's the first time they've ever thought of it. How can you not know that? And again, I was raised uniquely. I don't know anyone that was raised like me. Like, we're not watching that. We had like 10 VHS cassettes growing up. That was it. We didn't have cable TV. My mom, she wasn't going to watch that. We had the 3 original Star Wars, 2 Indiana Jones. We didn't have the second one because of all the devil like ritual with the Indian priest or whatever. We had like the Blues Brothers. We had a handful of movies that were all PG. They didn't have filth in them. And that's what we were allowed to watch. Otherwise, it was go outside and play or do something creative. Maybe that's why I'm an artist, because it was always go do something creative instead of melting your brain in front of the television. So, and don't get me wrong. I love TV. I love movies like anyone else,
Sure.
But, it's filth is filth. What do you want me to say? So, I don't know if that's sharing. I click share on.
It is. It's sharing.
Okay, I don't know what the broadcast looks like right now because I use StreamYard. I don't use Zoom, and StreamYard shows me what everyone sees.
Perfect. We see the slides. Yeah.
Okay. So do you want me to talk about these really quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is Empyrean Earth Illuminated, 120 pages. So it's like a 2-hour movie if you love the old Star Wars movies. And you can get it now. See, I have it right here. 120 pages. Written by me, illustrated by my friend who was a Disney animator and a DC Comics and Marvel Comics artist. We're great friends. He works on all kinds of stuff with me. And I illustrate some, he illustrates some. That's basically the 2 of us for my company. And it's a husband and wife team. They uncover a plot by the evil dictator of the planet Solus, where he's hiding the truth about a lost paradise from all the people he has under his heel. Kind of like a North Korea situation. Everyone thinks they're in paradise and they can't leave. But the husband and wife team find some ancient legends about faith and a paradise for those who would believe and try to set them free. Will the evil tyrant Casimir kill them and stop them before the truth can be exposed? I don't know. You're going to have to buy it to find out. Empyrean Earth Illuminated. That's 120 pages. So that is like a 2-hour awesome movie. Of course, my good friends, former Superman actor Dean Cain, my love for Indiana Jones, which I've already spoken about, and of course, James Bond, those kind of things. Dean Cain, All-American Lawman. Dean is a great friend of mine. And we're actually just,
he's a good dude.
Friends. We're friends. We're not just like business partners, like go to his house kind of friends when I'm in Vegas. And I thought, we need those macho masculine heroes that we had up until the woke time, where it was wrong to be a man, where they created this farcical concept of toxic masculinity. What if we said like, Hispanic toxicity or Asian toxicity, right? Like you just lump a whole group and say it's bad to be that? No. It's right to be a man. It's right to be resolute, brave, upstanding, die for the people you love. So we created a just awesome lethal weapon, Indiana Jones, All-American Lawman. You can get that. It's limited, though. We've sold out of a few. Like this James Bond homage cover, we've sold out of that one. There are like 5 different covers, but we've sold out of a few. But I love Dean Cain, All-American Lawman. And I wrote the sequel. And my buddy that drew this book is drawing the sequel to this. And he's 20 or 30 pages in. So he's about less than halfway done with it. And you'll be able to get that probably in the spring. I'm trying to get ahead here. I don't want to do them and then put them out right after I finish them. I want to bank a few books.
Yeah.
The Unstoppable Tyrus, 125 pages. If you love the Incredible Hulk, kind of like superheroes like the Avengers, Ninja Turtles, and stuff like that, with ancient mysteries like the Legend of Zelda thrown in, you're going to love the Unstoppable Tyrus. He became a friend of mine because he saw when I left DC Comics. Same with Dean. Dean noticed me on Twitter. We both separately became friends through Twitter when they loved my standing up to Warner Brothers and humiliating Warner Brothers for the woke nonsense. And I loved the Ninja Turtles as a kid. And so I wrote a book that has, like, I call them mana beasts. Instead of mutants, they're half man, half animals. And it's got ancient prophecies and the chosen one and all this cool stuff. And it stars Tyrus, a former disgraced professional wrestler who's at the bottom. He's lost everything. He's gone to jail. It's a great story. And finds out that he may have some superpowers and turn into a giant blue behemoth who has to save the world.
Kind of looks like you, brother.
Well, it's supposed to be Tyrus, but I'm a big guy too. I call my company Big Man Comics because I'm 6'4", 260 pounds. But Tyrus is like 6'7" or 6'8". So I guess it's called Big Man Comics for a reason. But there's a preview comic that I had at Comic-Con. You can't get this. It's limited. You could have got it if you ordered this in the first 48 hours. But I no longer offer this, and I don't think I will anymore. But the Tyrus comic, the 120-page book, I finished the dialogue for it and all that. The artwork is completely done. I got some amazing guys coloring it. I colored these two images, but the interior pages, I hired some real, like, pro guys to color it because I don't have time. And that'll be done Thanksgiving, and I'll put it out in January. Me and Tyrus are going to make a huge splash putting that out. So that's the Unstoppable Tyrus. Here's another Dean Cain, just to give you flavor. It's like Die Hard, right? He's swinging. He's got a beautiful woman. There's exploding helicopters, car chases. If you love that. So all of this stuff, bigmancomics.com, it's in stock. It ships fast. You'll absolutely love it. Here are some preview pages of the Unstoppable Tyrus. I'm not going to go into the story. This is thousands of years ago, an ancient prophecy, a Birdman, this evil woman here. And then we cut to modern day. Tyrus is a pro wrestler, but some things don't go well for him as a pro wrestler. So I'm not going to talk about that. I don't want to spoil too much, but it's an awesome book. It's got gorgeous artwork. I don't want to. I've shown some of these pages online.
And I can't get all four of these magazines.
You can get Empyrean right now.
Okay.
I will ship that out today if you order it, or tomorrow. You can get Dean Cain, All-American Lawman right now. You cannot get Tyrus because it's not done. I'm waiting for the colorist to finish coloring it. This was a preview book that I had at the San Diego Comic-Con, and you could get it if you ordered this back in July.
But I can't order all three and get one?
No, sorry. Because when you do exclusives for crowdfunding people, you have to make them feel special. So
I'm a pretty special guy, though.
Well, hold on. Just like you'll understand this, because I'd love to give you guys one. But I said to my fans and customers, if you back me on Empyrean in the first 48 hours, I'll throw this book in for free. So if I turn around and give those away and sell them, how does it make the people feel who I gave it to in the first 48 hours, right? Yeah. They're like, hey, I backed you in the first 48, man, and now you're just handing that thing out like candy. So I can't.
So I stopped buying comic books for the same reason that you stopped making them.
Well, stop making woke ones. I make the best ones ever now.
Yeah, but I mean, you're the only one, right? I mean, every time I pick up something, if I'm watching a movie or a show, and even remotely tilts towards wokeness, I turn it off.
Good.
My wife canceled Netflix.
Good. Yeah, I was done with Netflix when
I'm out.
I think this is like 2016 or way back, almost 10 years ago. They had a show called Dear White People. And I never watched it, but I read a synopsis online, and I think it was some high school comedy drama, and they were just shitting all over white people. And I'm like, I'm not even white. I'm not watching this. I don't do racism. I don't do prejudice. I don't do that because it's stupid. And when you grow up half like me, half like Mexican, Spanish, half Libyan, you realize the racism is pretty stupid. It's like, which
it's really stupid.
Which part of me is Libyan? My left hand, and then my right hand's Mexican or Spanish? Like, it doesn't, in my mind, it's like, it's illogical. Not only is it evil and mean, it's illogical racism. It just doesn't even mean anything. So I'm going to stop sharing these unless you had any more questions about them.
You're beautifully done.
Thank you. Go to bigmancomics.com and get on my mailing list. Everyone who can hear the sound of my voice. you conservatives, you anti-woke, you have to support the arts. If you can't make it, then you have to support it, or else you just let the left run over us. So go to my website, get on the mailing list, and you'll know, and it'll be the first to know when these come out. And you know, when Tyrus comes out in January, probably, don't hold me to this, I'll do something like that again. If you order in the first 24, 48 hours, maybe you'll get a preview of the Dean Cain sequel or something like that. I always like to do something special for the people who are really enthusiastic. So I'm going to stop sharing these. So how do I stop? Did I stop it? I don't know.
Yeah. Yep, you did.
Okay.
You should be back now. You should be able to see everything now.
Okay, yeah, everything went back to the middle. Okay.
All right. So go ahead, Tommy.
I was gonna say, no, man, those are beautifully done.
Thank you.
The only graphic novel I went through was Watchmen in like 2011. I read that. That's the only. And
what did you think of it?
Oh, it's been 15 years, but I from what I remember, I loved kind of the unwaveringness of Rorschach. You know,
Can I tell you about that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Watchmen is one of the greatest comic books ever made. It really is. And it's still a bestseller to this day, like 40 years later. DC Comics just can't stop printing and selling. People love it. Alan Moore is one of the greatest writers of all time. He is a far left communist leftist, and he hates that everybody loves Rorschach. Rorschach was written as a criticism and an insult to conservative people. And that's the character that everyone latches on to. And you've seen him, he's like, I don't understand what these idiot readers are saying. He didn't say that exactly, but he's like incredulous that people hate, people love Rorschach.
Dude who plants his feet even against Dr. Manhattan, who's a living man god, and says, no, and what happens eventually? He does still technically win. The manuscript gets out.
And he dies for his conviction, Rorschach.
Yes. Do it. And then, and I also, another line I love at the very end, it doesn't, when Adrian asks him, it doesn't work out in the end, and he goes, nothing ends, Adrian. Nothing ever ends. I love that line too, where it's even the highest global utopian plans with nuclear war and psychic aliens, and no, man, nothing ever ends. And
but you can see the evil nihilistic communism of Adrian Veidt, Ozymandias, the ultimate villain in that, where his plan, just so everyone knows, in Watchmen, there's the nuclear threat of the 80s, communist Russia versus America, and to subvert it, Adrian Veidt gets a bunch of scientists and like magical scientific people to make an alien invasion fake in New York City, and psychics make this psychic squid. It's this giant beast, teleport it to New York and kill thousands or millions of people, and then humanity has to unite against aliens, instituting world peace. That is a very communist concept of, hey, we'll kill a few million, but we'll create utopia.
Yeah.
So that's the writer, Alan, and that's pretty awful, that plan. But one of the greatest things is when I think it's Owlman or whoever the hero's confronting him about his plan about the psychic squid launching in New York. I'll paraphrase, but it's like the coldest line in comic books. It's my favorite line. He's like, the good guy's like, we'll never let you do that. And he goes, I'm not some cartoon serial villain. He's like, do it? I did it 30 minutes ago.
Yeah. That is the hardest line.
I think I'm going to tell you my masterstroke if there was any chance he was stopping it.
You think I'm a comic book villain? It happened 15 minutes ago. No, that is the hardest line.
Yeah, it was awesome. So there's exactly what I'm talking about. Alan Moore, one of the greatest writers in the history of comics, but a lot of what he writes is subversive filth. But he's so good at it. Even a person like me reads Watchmen and goes, dang, that's a good story. But the conservative anti-leftist person does win in Watchmen. He dies for his convictions and wins. So I can accept the story.
But the conservative wins?
He does, because Rorschach is against all of this, and Dr. Manhattan, who has like unstoppable godlike power, doesn't want the public to know about the psychic squid wasn't real. He doesn't want the communist lie to pervade. And Rorschach has a journal that exposes all of it, and Dr. Manhattan vaporizes him so he won't tell the world the truth. But Dr. Manhattan didn't know that the journal was already mailed to this news publication. So he dies, but, it's like, I'm going to tell the world the truth about this squid thing because it wasn't real. And,
so for the people that don't know, it's Adrian Veidt, he essentially does a false flag to unite the world. And Dr. Manhattan, he's like, though it's evil, it did technically work and it did prevent World War III. And Rorschach's like, I'm telling everyone about the false flag because it's subjectively wrong. And they go, we can't let you do that when we kill you. But almost kind of his own Adrian Veidt way of like, I'm not a comic book villain. At the same time, it's like, I'm not a comic book idiot. He's like, I mailed out the thing weeks ago. So in the end, the guy stands up for the right thing, and it does come out. But I think that's a brilliant point, because it does, it's been 15 years since I read that, and I'm still, as you're bringing it up, I'm hitting these lines immediately in my head. I remember
so good
where I was, and no, but that's a perfect illustration of the power of this stuff. And you're right, there is, and I'm guilty of it too. There is sort of you're not going to be an artist, you're not going to be a pansy, you're going to be a man's man. And it's like, no, man, abandoning art is not being a man. That is simply,
that's being a pansy.
That's surrendering one aspect of the battlefield.
Right.
And I think it kind of proves your point inherently.
Yeah. Well, look at woke people, Trump derangement people. Where are they learning this? Are they learning it from the ether? Is it through just in the air?
Broadcasted in their heads every night.
They're getting it from media. They're getting it from media, whether it be a TV show, news, music. They know the people that want to do this. They know not everyone listens to everything. Some people love music. Some people listen to it a little casually. Some people watch movies. Some people don't watch anything. Some people are on their phone all day and don't watch TV. So they put it everywhere. It's just the message, and it's all just persuasion. And they know it works. Being a comic book editor is not a fun job. You're chasing down freelancers for artwork and you're checking spelling. The reason they get that job is because it's a powerful job. And I've seen it firsthand. The woke people come in. There are blacklists, which are illegal. There are whisper networks on social media and Facebook. Don't hire this guy. He voted for Trump. Blah, blah, blah. It's all there, dude. I allege it. I can't prove it. But me and my colleagues know. Me and my colleagues, we do know. So.
And that
okay, so I need to tell you this. I'm sorry, I'm going to take a left. I tried to buy the Dean Cain All-American Lawman cover D foil.
Oh, we sold out. We limited that to 100. Why is that even up there? I'll have to talk to my web person.
Only 4 left in stock.
Oh, there's 4 left in stock. Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. We were going through our inventory. We did a whole inventory here at the warehouse, known as, my property here. And they found 7 more. So I guess we sold like 3, I guess, or something. So there's 4 left, you're saying, of the foil cover?
Yeah, I'm trying to I just bought the other one from you too. And
oh wow, I appreciate that. Is there a problem, or
it's not letting me buy it, but that's okay.
We might be sold out of certain ones. We are sold out of like cover. I think we're sold out of every cover except for F, and then we had a few of the foil. So A, B, C, and E, I think we're sold out. And I don't know about reprinting them right now. I have, but not, at least not today.
I want to bring up sorry to interrupt, another aspect about things like the the Dean Cain, kind of the masculine figure. There's that idea, and it's probably not entirely wrong, right? That after World War I and World War II, you more likely than not killed off the most courageous, most masculine men. They went. That's like
a good chunk of them.
A good chunk of them.
Yeah.
And you could almost say like this is not that different from that. It's like, well, where are all the men? Well, and I remember my mom. Kudos to her. I remember her pointing it out in like 2004, which I look back and it's brilliant. She was like, I hate these shows because every show, dad's just a doofus, just doesn't know what way. And in reality, it's like, my dad was the breadwinner, my mom's parents, like grandpa was the breadwinner, and there was nothing wrong with it. But she's like, every show you look at, dad just can't get out of his own way. And he's got a big rubber tire for his stomach. And no, but that is the same way of, well, how would you eradicate a generation of masculinity?
It's funny you say that. When I was about 11 or 12 years old, I was visiting my grandparents in Colorado for the summer. I grew up in California after my parents divorced. We were from Colorado. So I'd go visit my dad and my grandparents in Colorado, and the TV was on at my grandparents' house. And my grandma said exactly what your mom said. She said, I hate these TV shows. And I remember what she said. She said, the kids know everything, and the parents are idiots on all of these.
True story.
And so that's how my mom raised me, but she got that from her grandma, or her mom and dad and all that. And I'm sorry, what was your question? Because you just jogged that memory from my grandma. What was your question?
No, what I was going to say is that's a way to remove masculinity. And then even that itself, though, is a preface for why you need this state, because mom and dad can't do it.
Right. But the real way you remove masculinity, it's a rhetorical question. Why do we speak English? It's because our parents spoke English.
Sure.
So why would I speak stinginess or impatience or hatefulness? Why would I act that way? Because it's what was shown to me as true by my parents growing up. How would I be a man, act like a man, think like a man? Because a man or men, uncles, coaches were there saying, no, Gabe, we don't do that. We do this. You can do it. That's what men do that women are not capable of. There's scientific research. I won't debate with anyone. And there's anecdotal, just look around you. We have no-fault divorce. Reagan signed that in California, and then it was national, I think in the 60s, it went national, no-fault divorce. It went in California first. No-fault divorce is a disaster, right? Because there's 50% of marriages in divorce. I think it's even worse now because people don't even bother getting married. They have kids out of wedlock, and they don't even bother. You cannot raise kids without a father and expect good outcomes. All the data shows you that. Crime, teen pregnancy, not graduating high school, blah, blah, blah. Every terrible thing that can happen to you, drug abuse, it skyrockets when you don't have a dad. It doesn't skyrocket when you don't have a mom. It isn't ideal to not have a mother. But when you don't have a dad, all of that goes to the roof. We are now on generation 4 of no dads. Like, you either don't have a dad because your parents never got married, or they got divorced because mom wasn't happy because of feminism, or you got a dad at home and he's a colossal pussy and he doesn't know how to be a man. Happy wife, happy life. Anyone who says that, don't be friends with him. That guy's a weakling and a coward and a traitor. Happy wife, happy life, never. That is so wrong. That is kissing your wife's ass. So what? So she could be the leader, and then you're just a dumbass, and then your kids see that, and then they don't know how to respect themselves or each other. Women are wired to want you to lead. They won't let you lead if you act like an idiot and an incompetent coward. Then they're scared of you because they don't feel safe. But when you're a man and you have resolve and you have principles, they can't wait for you to lead. So we want to raise people without fathers for the last 50, 60 years, and then we wonder why we have the chaos we have. I'm half Mexican, okay? I know the Mexican barrio.
Which half?
I lived in one. Yeah, right. Which half? But it's not even Mexican.
Because you're kind of tall, so you know.
Right. Well, my grandmother, the Libyan, she was Turkish actually. My grandmother on the Libyan side, she was 6'4". Whoa. That's where it comes from. On the Mexican side of my family, the men are about 6 feet tall. You know. So, but remember, they're Spanish. You know, it's not like Native American Mexican. It's a mix of both. And Mr. Duran came here from Spain in the 1700s on my Mexican. What the hell was I saying?
Raising a generation without fathers. That's why we have it.
If you look at them, and I know this because I lived in a Mexican ghetto 25 years ago when my wife and I were young and early married and didn't have any money. So we lived in a dangerous place, and she grew up on an Indian reservation in a Mexican ghetto. And you look at the black ghetto, and you look at the white trailer park, they all have one unifying factor: no fathers.
Oh, yeah.
Women and children cannot go where men will not lead, period. It's proven around the globe. When men abdicate their authority to love and protect and provide, discipline and lead, chaos. Go to any ghetto, any barrio, go there, and you're going to find no fathers. That's what it is. Cowardly men that won't do the right thing.
And that's a microcosm of then the nation. How do you extrapolate? Well, gotta let in all the immigrants. I don't want any problems, guys. Happy wife, guys. Hey, happy violent mobs, happy life. Hey, just let them in. I don't care. Just let the drag queens dance in front of the kids. I just don't want any flags.
I don't want to be called a bigot.
I don't want to be called a bigot. So I guess we'll surrender our civilization.
Right.
If Gabe, if I could show you something really quick.
Show me.
This morning I woke up and I saw this interview on Fox News. And the interview on Fox News was basically meeting people at the Democrat Socialists of America, that, you know, Mandani or whatever his name is, was on stage. And so they wanted to interview him. So I probably won't play all of it, but I want you to hear, and I'm going to ask you now to listen to what they're saying and then tell me what they said that was of any value or any substance.
Okay.
After you hear it. So let's play cut.
I'll be fair. If we can. I'll be fair.
So let me ask you this. Joe Oltmann in New York, Ocasio-Cortez, their policy positions do you think they're good for the future of the Democratic Party looking toward 2028? The democratic socialism, that kind of platform, good for the party, that direction?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that currently the Democratic Party is a little bit reactionary because all of these bad things are coming out from the right. Obviously, like things like the big beautiful bill, that's anything but beautiful. We see that the right is doing a lot of harmful things, and the Democrats are responding to it like as we should. But I think specifically like how RERUN stands out is that he's standing on policies such as socialism, which is really important, which is like building that democratic base of what it means to be a progressive. I think that more politicians should be adopting socialism. I think that it's really important to be class conscious and like remove ourselves from this like neoliberal idea of it's okay to like do capitalism and exploit like workers. And I think that the Democratic Party should be the party for workers and look more towards socialism.
Who do you think is the leader of the party, or who do you want to see as the leader of the Democratic Party heading into the future?
Yeah, I really like AOC. Unfortunately, I would like to see her stand like and be more vocal about Palestine. But other than that, I really think that she should be the leader of the Democratic Party as she is a democratic socialist.
And by more vocal, what do you want to see her do?
I think that she should be more vocal about what's happening in Gaza, specifically condemning Israel for their genocide and standing out on that. And I think that she's great.
I think that, you know, me being also a young person, a young voter, a college student, seeing people like Dr. Mamdani, AOC just gaining so much more footing and so much more recognition in the policy field is very empowering. It's giving me a lot of optimism. I think it's mobilizing a lot of youth to also really align more with the socialism platform, because there's a lot of stigma, especially in the more conservative side with socialism. So the fact that people are really advocating for very common sense policies like healthcare for all and, you know, more affordability is really empowering. And I see if more youth continue to keep up that momentum, I can really see it making a big change coming into 2028 with whoever may be the next president, the next administration, etc.
There needs to be some sort of change within the party that fits with the energy that is surrounded with young people. Because yes, sometimes a lot of these policies seem out there, they haven't been tried before, but sometimes we need politicians and leaders who are willing to fail and are willing to try at the very least. Instead of sticking with institutional traditions, we want to see some change, and we're okay with seeing some failures. Like, at least there are people pushing for these platforms and wanting to make a difference and taking accountability step by step as they're trying to figure out some new policy solutions so that we can live a better future. Because right now with our young people, we're seeing a lot of nihilism, we're seeing a lot of civic apathy, and so we really need to address that at the root, and a lot of that comes with progressive change and energetic leaders like AOC and Mamdani over in New York.
Are there winning issues you think you've heard from them, like issues the party should take and run with?
Yeah, I mean, AOC, she did start with like the Green New Deal, and the environment is a really huge issue for young people because it is an existential crisis for us. We're the inheritors of the earth, and so we want to ensure that our generation and future generations can, you know, experience this beautiful earth that we have now, and that it's sustainable for everyone in the future. And I think with Mamdani as well, he talks a lot about like the quality of life for young people, also the cost of living in America. I'm a Californian, so I know that cost of living is definitely a huge issue. We're huge advocates in California for housing equality, ensuring that we can tackle this housing crisis. So I think these two topics of environmental justice, but also ensuring that everyone has good quality of life and can afford to live in America, are really touching topics.
All right, what'd you get out of that? Like, did you get what you needed out of that? Like, Gabe?
I think it all makes sense given the background that I can assume these people have. These viewpoints do make sense to them, and there's an internal logic to it. And it's a very simple thing. Again, it's fathers. Everything is fathers. They either have no father, they have a weak father, but they have a bad father in some way. He's a mean father, an abusive father. They have a bad father. And
you know, do you think some of the issue might be like I grew up super poor.
Yeah.
Super poor. And so for me, I was very hard on my children.
Yeah.
In a way that I think made them adopt to thinking for themselves, doing the right thing, not putting themselves in a position where they would take this weak approach that everyone is going to just make it, that everyone's equal. And one of the things that scares me about socialism is that socialism is not the same as communism, but the output is the same, and that is that it erodes the ability for people to succeed.
I think the ideological difference between the left and the right can be summed up very simply as gratitude and discontentment. When you have a father and he's a good father, you'll have gratitude. Oh my God, he suffered. Grandpa fought in the war and died. Countless men and women came before me for thousands and thousands of years so I could have air conditioning. When you have a father loving you, validating you, disciplining you, say, hey, you don't do that to our house. I paid for this house, blah, blah, blah. They were sacrificed to get here. You see me coming home from work after 12 hours, how tired I am, and then you're going to break the window and blah, blah, blah. And you learn to appreciate what you have when you have a good father, when you have that father thing, because the fathers are the ones that provide and protect. This is wired into humans, women and children, but women are resource-seeking creatures, and there's nothing wrong with it. They do expect to have food, healthcare, shelter, blah, 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 but they need to do their part. When you don't have a father, now you have discontentment, resentment, and ingratitude. Why would you want to change something if it was good? You only want to change something if it sucks. Left-wing people want to radically revolutionize, transform, change culture. Well, that means they assume culture sucks. You don't change things that are awesome.
Right.
You take care of them, you nurture them, you grow them if something's awesome. So conservatism is about building on what we have. So conservatism is actually the real progress, because I am able to make an iPhone because we made silicon chips, we made transistors, we made LED screens. We built all this stuff forever going back. Leftism, socialism, all of it that wants to wipe it away. Everything dad did sucks because dad sucks. And we're going to start history this morning. It's not truth, justice in the American way. It's truth, justice in the better world. Because how could my dad have done anything right? He was mean to me. He wasn't there. He didn't love me. He didn't provide. Fuck him. Fuck his world. One of their slogans is smash the patriarchy.
Mm-hmm.
Pater. That means father. That's literally what that word means. It means father. Smash the patriarchy is a broken heart saying, I hate my dad. He was awful to me. He wasn't there. I hate his world. I hate everything about him. That's why they want to smash the patriarchy. What you're looking at, even though they're psychopathic, evil, murderous, and all that, you're looking at people with broken hearts because their dad didn't love them right, wasn't there. Because you have to have your father validate you when you're little. Your mother cannot validate you. And if you don't get validated when you're little, you'll seek it the rest of your life. That's what virtue signaling is from the left. Look at me. I'm not a bigot to trans people. I let in infinity immigrants. Look at me. I give health care to everyone. I give driver's license to Indian people who can't speak English and can't read the road signs. I do everything to everyone always because I'm so good. That's seeking external validation because their fucking dad couldn't just be there, get them on the shoulder and say, hey, I love you, son. You messed up, but you know what? We're better than that. We're going to get it right next time. Blah, blah, blah. Kiss them on the head. Good night. And I'm there every day and I'm throwing the ball and I'm making sure you have hot food and making me know, oh, I matter. I'm important. This is a good world. It has flaws, but you know what? I'm grateful for what we have. That's what a father does and a mother can't do it. And it's not a flaw of women. They're not designed to do that. They're designed for comfort. Men are designed for this, and this is studied and psychologically proven, for the resilience in children. If the baby falls down, the toddler falls down, mommy's holding them and letting them cry. Daddy goes, you're okay.
Rub some dirt.
Okay.
Rub
Don't
some
cry.
dirt.
So that's what the leftist people are. They're discontented with their father's world because it sucked to this point. And the conservative people are like, dad was at football practice. It was awesome. I want more of this for me, for my kids. I want it for strangers. I want it for everyone. And that's why you're patriotic. Pater, it means father. I love my father's ways. They're awesome. Let's spread it. You're revolutionary, like, my dad's ways suck. Let's reset the whole thing. That's all this is. It's father. That's everything.
All right, Jeff had this to say, which I think is, he's on to something. An abusive father can produce a man of great character because the young man learns to reject evil.
Yes.
But a young woman learns not to trust any man.
Right.
Devastating.
But I would agree, but I would edit that to say the guy that had the abusive father had to have another man there, a grandpa, football coaches, youth pastors. You can't, my dad wasn't around. Coaches. I didn't see him much because I lived in California. He lived in Colorado. What saved me was my grandfather, one of the greatest God-fearing, hardworking men I've ever known. I was around him all the time. And then when I wasn't with him, I was with my football coaches or I was in youth group at church. So I was always around men who had their head on straight. And I was not, even though my parents got divorced, my mom was conservative. Like, yes, fathers are good. Family is good. Like, yes, it didn't work for her, but she wasn't against it. She didn't badmouth my father and do all those terrible games that divorced parents can do, using kids as pawns. She didn't do that. It was always reinforced to me, yes, fatherhood, man, masculinity, yes, that's what we want. You know, so yeah, the abusive father can make you go the other way. You know, I'm a dedicated father. I've been one for over like 28 years. My daughter's 28, because I didn't have a dad. You know, and my parents divorced when I was so young, and that hurt tremendously. And I never wanted my kids to feel the same way. No, even on the hardest days of my marriage. Anyone who's married knows you didn't want to be married every day of your marriage. There's some days you have arguments, you're just like, you know, I live in San Diego. I guess I could be in Mexico in half an hour. No, never come back. You know, as a man, you know, a woman will get on your last nerve. Thank God my wife is not that way. She's not a nagger, an arguer. But some women, I don't know. God bless the men that put up with a quarrelsome woman. You know, it's funny. Even the Bible has 2 verses about quarrelsome women. One verse says it is better to live on the roof of your house than with a quarrelsome woman. Another verse says it's better to live in the desert than with a quarrelsome woman. So even God knows, like, hey, you know, some of these women, they're a little tough to deal with. So
absolutely. Gabe, I went ahead. I want to give everybody the opportunity to buy your stuff. So tell everybody where to go. I just did, so you'll get to check out a Big Band Comics.
Well, first of all, Joe, thank you so much for having me. Tommy, thank you for recommending me. It's a great time. I talk a lot. Sorry, I should have let you guys know.
That's why we have you on. I mean,
thank you.
The big thing that I will say is this. We all love art. We all love music. The music that I used to listen to when I was a kid,
right,
it was garbage in, garbage out. I mean, I was the biggest Tupac fan you're ever going to know. I mean, I've memorized every Tupac song. When they come on, I got it all figured out. But I just learned over the years that I want good stuff in my brain, right? I don't want to.
Yes.
I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be upset. And I grew up. I left home at 15.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
So. And I've done very well. I've been ridiculously successful in my life. I've been blessed immensely.
Good.
But there's this thing that happens where you can't forget it. You cannot forget the fact that your parents got divorced when you were young. It affects every decision you make today.
But that's okay. Life isn't about what happens to you, it's how you react to it. And some people need to stop and look in the mirror and go, am I just living a bunch of horrible reactions to my childhood?
Yes.
Carl Jung, I referenced him earlier. He said, until the subconscious is made conscious, it will control people's lives and they will call it fate. How many people are just asleep and they do this, they take this drug, they sleep around, they hate, blah, 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 and they don't know why they're doing it. And if they would stop and pray and think and go, oh, it's because my dad did blah, blah, blah to me, or my mom did this, or I got, this girl cheated on me. And it's like strings 100 feet below the water pulling on you, and you don't know about it. And all of us have that, and we'll probably always have it, but you got to do the work every day. You got to pray and trust God and say, help me see what's deep in my mind and heart that's making me do stupid stuff. I remember just young, I struggle with weight. I'm in shape now, 260. I was like 320. And I noticed the pattern younger, but I didn't do much about it. I'd get nervous or upset, and then like, okay, I got to go eat a bag of cookies. Something would go wrong. It's like, oh, I need a hamburger. And you don't think it. You don't hear the voice. You don't see the words. You just like kind of feel it. And that's that subconscious going, go run for some pleasure. Go run from this problem and get some pleasure. And some people it's drugs, sex, gambling, whatever. And it's that subconscious thing that you need to deal with. And again, fathers teach you resiliency. You fall, you bust your elbow, and you want to scream and cry and run to mommy, and dad's like, you're okay. You're okay. Get up. I did that to my kids. I do that. I have a granddaughter. She lives with me here. And she tripped hard, and she was on her scooter in the house, right? Because, of course, she should have been doing that. And she tripped in the hallway and hit her arm on the basket with the shoes in it. And she looked at me like she wanted to cry. And I helped her up. I said, you're okay. And then she ran around playing, laughing a second later. But she was going to start screaming. But I told her, you're all right, because it wasn't that bad. So, and that's what men do. And a woman's instinct is, oh, baby, let me see. And then the baby cries. And that's okay. There's a place for that. But the kids need both. And we're trying to have a society without fathers. And it is going terribly. It is going as bad as you would expect.
I would agree with you. Fully agree.
But you wanted me to tell everyone to go get my stuff. My goodness.
Yes.
Bigmancomics.com. Very simple. Go to Big Man Comics. Adventures for the Unconquered. That's my slogan there, because I was not conquered by woke Hollywood, and neither are you. You watching, you listening. They tried all the stuff with the medical, the COVID, the kids that they want to do, like, messing with your kids' identity, the immigration, the election stuff. They've been attacking you for decades, and it's intensified in the last 10 years in the Trump era, and you've remained unconquered, and you should be so proud of that. So if you want uplifting, thrilling stories that reinforce these beliefs, but you're not being preached at. My books, you don't openly go, and Democrats suck. I don't write that. I write stuff like you loved in the 80s when you were watching the old Indiana Jones. You don't know Indiana Jones politics.
I mean,
He's a
I'll say
college
that.
professor. He might be left-wing. I don't know. But he didn't throw it out there on the screen. He was just brave, and he kissed the woman, and he shot the bad guy, and it was all about being a tough, cool, good guy. So you go right to my website. You can order Empyrean. You can order Dean Cain, All-American Lawman. Tyrus is coming. I like to get my books done way ahead of time. We got awesome t-shirts, all kinds of fun stuff. We're going to have a lot more coming soon. But yeah, get those graphic novels today. Special offer today. I will let you buy as many copies as you want of I guess, Empyrean. I'm sold out of some other things, but go check it out. You'll love it. BigManComics.com. Great entertainment, and it's for everyone. It's not, oh, comics are for kids. Oh, no. These are safe for kids to read, but you will be engaged like the 80s and 90s Star Wars. Like you're 50 years old watching Star Wars. You love it, but you feel safe letting a kid watch the old Star Wars. That's how mine are. You read Dean Cain, All-American Lawman. It's crazy, action, explosions, blah, blah, blah. You can hand it to a 7-year-old. No gore, no sex, no cursing, but it doesn't feel like it's for babies. So I ride that line where it's for grownups, but it's safe for kids to read. And you need stuff for your kids to read because they're trying to brainwash them on Disney Plus. They are trying to brainwash them, So you need stuff like this for your kids and grandkids. So please get order as much as you can today. Support me as much as you can, because you keep buying them, I'll keep making them. And we got to keep the lights on around here. BigManComics.com.
All right, awesome, Gabe. Thanks for showing up, brother. Thanks for being here. Thanks for taking a stand. Thank you for self-selecting and doing the right thing and bringing something good back to the arts. Appreciate you very much.
I really appreciate you guys. I'll come back anytime. You, Tommy, anything like that. Thank you for having me very much.
All right,
Yes,
God bless
sir.
you.
Thank you.
How awesome is that? That's pretty awesome.
Cool
Good
guy.
dude. Very, very good dude. Yeah, so we're gonna take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're gonna talk about the Democrat Socialists of America and their website and some of the things that they're doing. Like this is why I want people to get outside of the echo chamber, and I want them to understand that most people, Democrats and Republicans, want the same thing. Matter of fact, I was having a conversation with my neighbor who is a Democrat in Texas, and I said, "Yeah, I'm a Republican, but I think that they're both equally broken, and I can't get behind killing babies." And he looks at me, he goes, I don't want to kill babies. And I was like, well, you think you're pro-choice? He goes, no, I'm not. He goes, I'm firmly against abortion. I said, well, then how can you vote for Democrats? He goes, well, I can't get behind the racism deal. And I go, well, I can't get behind the racism deal either. That's why I'm not a Democrat. So we had this lively conversation where I think people pick a Democrat or an R or D based on their upbringing, their family, and they don't put a lot of thought into it. They don't trust the government. Nobody trusts the government at any level. But it was great to see that, again, I got proved wrong by a guy that, he thinks he's pretty up on things, and he was a Democrat that voted for President Trump. So how do you square all the things, if you put them in play, how do you square them all up to the fact that you had nearly 20% of Democrats that switched teams to go vote for President Trump? It's a lot.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk about Antifa. We'll be right back.
My first first time here shooting at the shooting range.
How's it going? It's also my first time, and I'm really excited.
It's also my first time here, first time shooting a gun.
My day off of work, and they were like, hey, want to shoot some guns?
That was awesome. The revolver is crazy. I will definitely come again.
Yeah, it was awesome. Really cool experience.
100% bringing my friends here another time.
I like to come shoot because I get to spend time with my family.
Same for me. I love spending time with my family. It's something to do.
It's a lot of fun shooting.
When I first moved back into town, the first place I came was DCF Guns, and I signed up for a membership right away.
I got into shooting because of self-defense. I would encourage all women to be ready and to feel comfortable handling a handgun.
This was my first time ever shooting at DCF West. It felt amazing.
I shot an AR-15 and it was amazing. It was powerful and I loved it.
I'm here today as a part of a group of women that support one another in continuing to practice and refine our knowledge.
Not only self-protection of ourselves, but protection of our loved ones as well.
I have fun and I get to meet with other ladies.
You should always be prepared to defend yourself.
And I love coming to DCF Guns West to shoot. I come with my family. It's a nice, clean, friendly range. Here I feel safe. I feel like the people to my left and my right are also really cognizant of their range etiquette. That's why I come to DCF Guns West.
Come join the DCF family today, where we keep the range hot and the deals hotter. Hey, this is just in from Fidelity. Gold could hit $4,000 an ounce as the Federal Reserve cuts rates to cushion the U.S. economy. The dollar drops and central bank keeps adding holdings. Gold has been on a record-breaking tear over the last few years, and it doesn't look to be slowing down in the years to come. Are your savings protected with precious metals like gold and silver? Are you waiting for gold and silver to shoot even higher in price? I want you to call my gold partner, Goldco, today and learn more about what precious metals can do for you. That's 844-960-GOLD or visit untamedgold.com. You'll get a free 2025 gold and silver kit, and you'll get info on the #1 precious metal offer in the game, where you can get up to 10% back in bonus silver just for getting started. But supplies are limited, so don't put it off. Call my gold partner, Goldco, at 844-960-GOLD or visit untamedgold.com. That's 844-960-4653 or visit untamedgold.com.
Trick or treat? At DCF Guns, it's all treats this Halloween. We're handing out spooky good deals, king-size candy, and everything in between. Forget the chocolate, our sweets come in the form of savings you won't want to miss. Visit DCFguns.com and shop our spooky deals today. DCF Guns, where we keep the range hot and the deals hotter.
So let's start here. Let's start with what is the, so by the way, the Democrat Socialists of America is Antifa. Tommy, pretty good synopsis is if you look at the Democrat Socialists of America, it is kind of like the Al Capone's criminal enterprise, and it sends out its goons, and that would be Antifa. So you don't, there is not a difference between the two. They're both synonymous with one another. And if you take the NGOs and nonprofits and what Gabe was talking about as far as the arts and education, and they do the slow roll through there, convincing people that, you know, that somewhere along the line, everyone's a racist. I just read a post by a guy that, frankly, I'm getting tired of like even looking at his stuff. He put a post that says, any MAGA head want to discuss Qatar training on F-15 QAs on U.S. soil? What does America get out of this? I thought MAGA hates immigrants. So I said, no, MAGA does not hate immigrants. And he says, so the MAGA white supremacists who are pushing for white America aren't against immigrants? Yeah, I reviewed footage for days speaking otherwise against the comments. So he just makes stuff up. I said we should talk about the black dude that killed a white woman on a train and said that it was black people, and that is who black people are. You attach MAGA to a white supremacist, which is stupid. Shit people are shit people. So he has to come back and says, you degraded BLM because the organization owner was a shitbag. No, I actually, let me just respond to the way I was responding. I degraded BLM because it is bullshit. It's not because of the owner. It shits on people who have lived their lives giving back and doing the right thing. And the narrative is garbage, and facts don't care about your feelings. So we've literally built an environment where you can just create whatever sort of truth out of thin air that you want. And we got to put up with it. I got to tell you something, Tommy. I think we're closer to civil war than I think we've ever been. And I'm closer to civil war with people that, frankly, were friends of mine for years. Years. Democrat Socialists of America says that capitalism is a system designed by the owned class to exploit the rest of us for their own profit. Do you believe that?
No. I mean, I believe they said it. You have to understand all these things they're all simply vessels to get to a point where you're in control. That's all it is. And in this way, they find it's a lot. It's very few people are going to hear the words and take them into heart when you say, "Hey, work hard. Discipline and sacrifice plus time will reward you." Some people hear that and they take it to heart and they go and build empires. Most people want to hear that they're not wrong, that it's not their fault, that it's someone else's fault. Now, the people on the street, those are the useful idiots who truly believe in the utopia that's being espoused. The people at the top, they're cunning, they're evil, but they're cunning. They know exactly what to do. What's easier to do? Say, hey man, there's no shortcut. You just got to eat less. You got to go to the gym, and it's gonna hurt. There's no such thing as no pain, no gain. It's just gonna hurt. You're gonna eat vegetables. It's gross. You're gonna want a hamburger. But if you stick to it, you can get the physique you want. Some people will hear that. Most people would rather hear it's not your fault, dude. You were born big boned. There's actually something in the water. It's Trump and Bobby Kennedy did it, and that's the reason why you're 800 pounds. And people will want to hear that. Now, the people espousing that are useful idiots who actually believe it's not your fault and that you're just big boned. The people at the top who are coordinating it realize that it's the path of least resistance. And that's how you can get the most people. And what is the long-term thing? Well, we've seen it in the last century and a half. The long-term thing is extractive institutions with a very strong Praetorian Guard and a few elite at the very top who get to control everything, and everyone below either does the dirty work or you get shot in the head in a gulag. In terms of a vessel to get to power, it's very effective and it's very brilliantly designed. It's evil, but it's very effective because most people don't want to hear, how do I build muscle? Go to the gym until it hurts, and then eat something high in protein and drink water and go to bed early. You don't want that. What you want to hear is, hey, it's your genetics, it's environmental things, it's not your fault. What you should do is take this, take that. It's not your fault, man. People want to hear that. And so in terms of a vessel to get to power, it's though evil, it is a brilliant net that they've cast. Baz says it all the time. Pedophiles don't go up to kids and say, hey, I'm going to rape you and kidnap you and kill you. No, they show up with candy. They show up with puppies. It's because they know what they're doing. And so that's how I look at that. I don't doubt that the useful idiots, the foot soldiers, truly believe it because they're retarded. They're legitimately stupid. The people that are coordinating it, though, they know what they're doing. They're evil, but you have to respect your enemy.
Yeah, I mean, respect the enemy, but you were talking about massive amounts of deception that exist. Socialism cannot work.
Correct.
It mathematically cannot work. And if we could just do this, let's put up the next one. This is what Democrat Socialists. Now, I want to say this about the DSA on X. 337,000 followers. And this, by the way, is when I talk about bots, what I'm talking about. They put out this post for DSA candidates are going against corporate-backed opponents, and they're going to need it. Your help to get over the finish line in November. Support a socialist running for office with a donation today. It used to be unheard of that someone could say they were a socialist just a decade ago. But because they put so many people in positions of power, because they've stolen the election machines and the mail-in ballots, and by the way, nothing's changed. Liberty vote. I mean, first you had Dominion voting systems, right? And now you have Liberty Vote. So you change the name and make it seem like Affordable Care Act. It's going to be run by something different. But it's not run by someone different. It's run by the same person. And here's the best part about this new Liberty Vote bought by the knowing guy, right? Because he's a privately held person, he can go get $100 million from someone down the street to buy it, and he doesn't have to tell anybody. He didn't have to tell anybody who his investors are. We have got to the point where the for-profit system of stealing our vote has become an elitist game. But the reason why I say this is because they put this up and it says 1,600 people saw it. And up until October 9th, most people, I mean, it was like 1 or 2 likes. This one had eight people that hearted it, 2 people that commented on it, 1 share. As you go further and you look at DSA, you'll have stuff that says 66,000 people, but only 23 people liked it. This is what bots do. Bots create an environment where you think at some point this is a popular idea. It's not a popular idea. And one of the things that they are trying to do inside of this Democrat Social America is that they want to raise by their own standards, not by me saying this is their own standards. They want to raise wages, cap rent, make it so that the borders are wide open, but take care of the Palestinians and make sure they have solidarity. Now, how in the world, if you rent control and keep rents down, do you pay people more? Just square it for me. Square. Anything, square it for me.
Well, I can tell you what you do is you fudge the numbers for a long time until it hits a point that you can no longer ignore it. And that's when you kill 10 million of them.
Like 33.
I'm not being sarcastic. That's what you do. You promise everything. And then once the bill finally gets due, then you kill them all. Show me a communist society where that didn't happen. I'm not joking. It's how do you square it? Well, here's the thing: is we don't actually have enough food. We're going to tell everyone that because that's how we get into power and get the rifles and the tanks. And when they get a little uppity, we're going to do a little. We're going to call it cleansing.
Well, people, and that's in line with what they said, where they have to eliminate 90-95% of the population. Here's Mamdani.
Yeah.
Promising things he can't promise. This is how much the liars have gotten desperate. They're going to lie so spectacularly that you'll never see it coming. Let's go ahead and play it.
To afford the more than 12% increase in rent-stabilized apartments under this Mayor Adams administration, and struggle to afford what has now grown more than $20,000 a year in childcare costs. And so what we are releasing today is the cost saved calculator, where you can go to Zahran for nyc.com/calculator and see just how much each of these big 3 items will save you in your lives. Because when it comes to free buses, each rider will save over $2,000 a year. That's $1.3 billion a year for all riders. When it comes to universal childcare, we're speaking about $22,200 a year, which together is $5.5 billion for every New Yorker across this city. And when it comes to a rent freeze, we are speaking about $1,750 saved every single year. And together that amounts to more than $1.7 billion in its first year. These are the figures that add up in the lives of New Yorkers. These are the figures that together would save the people of this city more than $8 billion.
Who pays for it, Tommy?
I was going to ask, that's a very interesting bus.
Well, it's even better than that, because the woman that was killed on the train. See, the left is not stopping until we stop them, until we literally push them into the deep, darkest devil's hole they came out of. They're not going to stop. You had a guy that was arrested 39 times, over 25 felonies, and is out on the street, kills a woman, stabs her just brutally to death. This is what he also says. Let's play the next one.
the jail population of Rikers has increased since Eric Adams has come into office by more than 1,000 additional incarcerated New Yorkers. And what is quite staggering to me is that we know that we can reduce that jail population to less than 4,000. I mean, Vital City had an article about a number of different proposals that could reduce it to 3,700. And some of this also just has to look at the average stay on Rikers in the 90s was 50 days. Now it's more than 100. There are more than 1,500 people on Rikers who have been held there for more than a year. So I do think many of the reforms that have to be made are also reforms around the court system and ensuring that people are actually having.
So we're going to put more people out on the street.
Yeah.
I want you to notice a couple things that they did not say. They did not talk about education reform and actually making sure that kids graduate from high school with the ability to read. They did not talk about taking fentanyl off the streets. They did not talk about getting rid of illegals and some of the illegal crime or the gang violence that happens in the city. You have to pay more attention to what he's not telling you than what he is telling you. Because that's where you really get into making sure you can sustain all the corruption and evil of the Democrat Party.
Again, what you have to do is look at all of this as a vessel to reach control, to reach an apex, to reach a point. That's all this is. So if they're not telling you how it's done, it's because there's no intention of. It's like, you know, what would I imagine is probably like one of the best gigs would probably be building at home, you know, shelters, Cold War style shelters. And why is that? Well, it's going to cost you an arm and a leg. You don't know if you have no base of reference to see whether or not it's going to work. I seal it. I tell you, it's airtight. It's biological, radiological, chemical. You can buy my freeze dried food and your weapons, ammos, all this stuff, because there's only two outcomes. The first is that the bombs never drop, and thus your product is never really truly tested. The second is the bombs drop, and either they're dead or you're dead. Regardless, no one's walking across an irradiated wasteland to say, hey, your bunker didn't work. No, you're dead. The entire city's gone. It's a smoldering ember of a continent. Now, if your goal is to just make money, that's a pretty good way to go about it. Promise it, you'll never have to deal with it, because if the push comes to shove, you're probably dead anyway. That's what a lot of this stuff. You don't need to be based in reality. It doesn't matter if you actually have puppies and candy in the van. You just want to get the kid. That's what these people are. There is no long-term sustainability. Is it feasible? That's what Gabe was saying. That's what a father does. How are we going to make sure we do this? How are we going to make sure we have enough for everybody? That's what a loving, caring person does. That's what a loving, caring leader does. That's not what this is. Understand what this is. It's a naked pursuit of power. You want free buses? Yeah, they're free. They're absolutely free. It doesn't matter how it's all made up. It doesn't matter. You spend more time in prison? Well, why were they spending 50 days in prison versus 100? What were they? Oh, you raped a child? No. We're not going to go on that. What we're going to say is less people in prison, because it doesn't matter. If it is a pursuit to just if it's a pump and dump penny stock scheme, you don't care if there's long-term growth and what are we going to do in Q3 of 2028 and build a new fabrication plant. That's what a real CEO does who cares about his company. If you're just trying to pump and dump and get a couple billion and throw it in offshore, fake your death, get a G6 and, go to the Caribbean, you'll tell anyone anything they want. Yeah, we're opening up 10 new factories. Yeah, they're all going to be great. We're going to build those buses. That's what it is. So once you understand it for what it is, the idea of how do we square it, how do we explain it, you're buying into it already. Just call it out for what it is at its face value. It's all dog shit, and your ideology has killed 120 million people in the last century. It's what it is. It's just what it is.
Well, I got to tell you that it is the part that irritates me is that we don't learn from history, and we don't understand that, frankly, not everyone is going to have everything. There's going to be times that, frankly, it's really bad for some people. And you can do your best to try and increase the quality of life for people in your community, but that takes an active interest in their education standards and getting rid of and having a zero tolerance on crime. That is where you actually get to a better life. If you are soft on crime and you take away the ability to hold people accountable for crime, so there's just some people you cannot save, Tommy. You can't save them. You can't save people that are deep into drugs that institutionally had problems their entire life, or they're mentally ill. You can't save them. You can't save them. They're not the ones you should be trying to save. It's the next generation that's coming up. Now, you can do the best you can to help someone out in their 20s and 30s and 40s and hope that you can give them the ability to recover. But if they don't, it's on them. But the kids coming up, those are the ones you have to break the cycle. And right now, they're increasing the cycle by allowing all this nonsense to exist and cutting off penises and grooming children. What's that?
Now you're looking at it as a self-made dude and a father and a God-fearing American. What you're not looking at it is, I want you to look at it and pretend this is just a video game and you're a psychopath and you don't give a shit.
But that is why we have this problem.
But that's what I mean, is that's what they break the cycle. The cycle is your voter base. What are you talking about? I mean, less fathers. What are you doing? Now, and like you said, you cannot save everybody. And that's what that is. That doesn't make someone cold for saying that. What that means is, it means you're an adult and you're looking at it for what it is. Same way in, combat doctors. The same reason there's triage is because it's not all unicorns and rainbows. That guy's missing both legs and his femorals, dumping out blood on the side of a mountain. Hey, man, he's not going to make it. Okay? Doesn't mean you don't care for him. Doesn't mean you're not going to think about it every day for the rest of your life. What it does mean is, I can either try to care for all 10 people here and most of them will die, or you can look at the guy with his intestines blown out and go, that guy's probably KIA. But we have these guys over here where if we stop the bleeding, we can get them back to base and they can live to see another day. That doesn't make you a cold person. It makes you a realist. The people who say that is a cold, the people who say that is cold are children. Who
they want everyone
how come
to
they're
die?
not out safe? And you go, you'll understand when you're older. And the thing is so if you look at this and you go, not everyone is going to have everything. That doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It means you're a realist. And you go, well, then who should we try to help the most? Probably the children who have not had when you're an adult, I'm 35. If I tank the podcast, stop doing shows, stop any of my responsibilities, that's on me. I'm an adult in my free will and I destroyed my life. And people close to me could try to help or whatever, but hey, ultimately, I'm an adult. What you don't want to do is you don't want to throw the 6-year-old under the bus. You want to look at them and go, if we have limited resources and we're going to triage this, I am less concerned. It doesn't mean I don't care for them. It doesn't mean I'm not my brother's keeper. It does not mean I try to be Christ-like. I'm less concerned about the 55-year-old crackhead, and if he can get on a bus, than I am about, let's make sure those kids can get on a bus, because you do have to choose. You cannot have it all. There are finite resources. That is just the basis of this fundamental reality. And as Voltaire said, those who can convince you of absurdities can make you commit atrocities. These are the people that reality doesn't mean anything. You're a guy? No, you're not. You feel like a woman? Chop it off. It doesn't matter. That bleeds over into, you want buses? They're free. They're fast. You're in prison? Less
but
prison
who's going to pay? Who's going to pay the $10 billion? Who's going to take care
None
of the
it
people on the
matters.
street?
None of it matters. It's a quick glide to the top.
They got rid of guns. Can't you have a gun? So the only people that have guns in New York City are the cops and the criminals, and sometimes they're the same people. Right?
Yeah.
So you have here's New York City attorney is sounding the alarm on socialist Zerhan because he wants to now abolish. He's promising to abolish misdemeanors. This guy. Go ahead and play it.
Oh.
All right, I'm Sweeney. I am down here outside of the district's attorney's office here in Lower Manhattan. And for all the videos I have ever published, guys, I have never once asked you to reshare them. I've never once said spread them to your friends and make them go viral. But as God is my witness, I hope this one goes mega viral with no vested interest to myself, only for the safety of New York City residents. And it'll be a short one, okay? I'm going to start off with a demand. I'm going to paint you a very scary picture, and I'm going to end it with a question. And here's my demand. Stop pissing on my leg and telling me that it's just fucking raining. For all you folks that are saying, oh, Zoran's not radical, he's just capitalism with a few social programs. He just came out with a press release saying he wants to abolish misdemeanors. And thankfully for you guys, I'm an attorney, so I can explain to you guys what a few misdemeanors are, all right? Third-degree assault, third-degree drug possession, theft, larceny, DWI, forcible touching. For that crusade of women that was across, social media last summer saying, where are all the strong men that aren't coming up to protect us when someone touches us on a subway? Even if I did what I wanted to do, which is step up and knock someone's fucking teeth out, Zoran would arrive and say, cops, let him go. That was just a forcible touching. It's not a jailable offense, which leads me to my final question. Zoran, what kind of fucking peyote are you smoking?
That's the truth. That's the guy. By the way, find out, Tommy, who this guy is. I want him on the show. Find him.
I'll take a note of it.
I want him. By the way, the Democrats have been instructed to pretend they've never heard of Antifa. And what we're dealing with right now is this Antifa on the streets. These are the stormtroopers of the Democrats. This is the DSA. All right, but let's go ahead and play this cut A.
So the fact that there is no, nobody even knows what it is. The first person I ever heard use the word Antifa was Donald J. Trump when he was going on about how there were good people on both sides in Charlottesville. That's the first time I ever heard anyone use the term. So now it's this amorphous thing, and if nobody's really Antifa, then everybody could be. And the reason you can't find them is because they're just that crafty.
This guy's a retard. He's a retard. If the first time you ever heard Antifa was when President Trump was saying there's good people on both sides, which he didn't say, you're a liar. You're a lying sack of shit. You're a shitbag. You're the shitbag that, man, I wouldn't wipe my ass with you. Just so you know who he is, he's the current Attorney General of Minnesota. He's elected to the U.S. House of Representatives in 2006, representing Minnesota's 5th congressional district until 2019. This guy's oh my gosh. And here's Jimmy Kimmel, by the way. This is a clip of Democrats. There is no Antifa. Let's go ahead and play it.
There's no Antifa. This is an entirely imaginary organization. There is not an Antifa.
Like, I don't even know what Antifa is. There is no group.
It's not even like far-right groups like the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers. Compared to right-wing extremists, Antifa-linked violence is rare and limited.
It isn't an organization. It is a in many ways mythology.
It's not like the Proud Boys or the Oath Keepers, sort of defined terrorist organizations with leadership that leads violence.
It's not a highly organized movement. It's a moniker. It's not a unified group like the Proud Boys are.
Things like Antifa are things that are thought up.
It's all in this guise of going after Antifa, which is nothing. There's no organization called Antifa.
Nobody's a member of Antifa because it doesn't exist. They are just declaring into existence something that doesn't exist.
There is no Antifa organization, so maybe that's good for social media, but it really is non-existent.
They exist on the internet in chat rooms and in 4chan and Discord and places like that where they run discussion boards, trade tactics, documents, things like that. But none of them are called Antifa.
Those who can convince you of absurdities can make you commit atrocities.
Yeah, well, here's another one.
What do you think the logical step from safe and effective is? It's this. And how much farther along? How many communist shitholes do you have to look back in history where it's not just that people get disappeared in the middle of the night? That's the beginning. The next step is nobody even brings up that somebody was disappeared. That is the final coup. That's what this is. They look you dead in the eye and they say it's not real, and you're going to have everyone going, Antifa's never been a thing. It's never been a thing.
All right, well, check this out. I got a couple more things that I want to do before I pop out of here, but I got to go get on a plane. Domestic terrorism, this is what happened. Emergency flight that to save someone's life at the Portland hospital, they tried to crash helicopters in Portland. Let's go and play it.
Focused on the military helicopters, the Customs and Border Patrol helicopters that people have been complaining about in the area near the ICE facility. We saw a flyer this morning showing that call for people to shine their lasers at 9 o'clock tonight. OHSU tells us their air ambulance vendors made the decision to land at other airports for safety reasons. Patients would be taken to the hospital then by ambulance. That could add a lot of extra time, though, from 45 minutes to an hour longer. Police have made arrests in the past, by the way, of people who target police aircraft with lasers. Now, just last month, 4 people were arrested in connection to lasers being pointed at the Customs and Border Protection helicopter. Last week, Hector Mendoza charged with a felony for targeting several types of aircraft. If convicted, he could face up to 5 years in prison. That type of crime can land you behind bars for up to 20 years. The city says it has seen an uptick of complaints about the helicopters, but they say that noise is out of local control.
And this is where they tried to use that Antifa in Portland using these lasers to try and bring down ICE split. By the way, guys gotten 10, 15 years for putting a laser on an airplane.
Oh, everyone with a brain. I knew that in college back in 2010, where we'd get drunk and steal mailboxes and stuff. The one thing you knew not to do, because there was an airport, Athens Regional, didn't matter how drunk you were. If you had you point at the no, you don't.
Right,
no, you do not.
put this up. This is a local. This is a local trans activist, tranny activist behind the banned Antifa Twitter account. Says she's proud of her demands for violence and calls for others to set up radical left-wing groups. So I thought it was not a group.
Well, they don't exist, Joe.
This person works for the Colorado Times Reporter, a left-wing. Yeah, this is Sean Beadle, transgender activist turned journalist. By the way, who was kicked out of a school because he's a pedophile who tried to recruit children inside of a high school.
Yeah, man, they're pedophile demons from hell.
Yeah, let me just show you this. This is Antifa operates. Operatives disguised as Trump supporters helped create chaos. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. Cut 9.
He's getting his disguise on.
Okay, so he's gonna wear this. I'm gonna wear a mask underneath the mask. You should wear this. I'm wondering if I should wear, what do you think I should wear as the hat? I should wear this or this? Yeah. Here, this is your mask.
Oh my God, the America mask.
Dude, I'm not fucking with you. You gotta blend in. I know you can't stomach wearing it, but like you need to blend it. You have to have a visual identifier. You're not coming if you're not wearing this.
All right.
You could also wear this.
Yeah, the America hat might be my move, but we'll see. I'll bring them both in my backpack.
We've got Fox News, OAN,
CNN. We're ready to.
We're ready.
I don't know if we're committing crimes doing this, but
Are you insinuating that I don't work for all 3 of these companies simultaneously?
I am at least a little bit insinuating that.
You feel like you think that I don't work for all of them. They won't trust you unless there's a visual, like there's something visual.
There you go. This was the infiltration group at J6. These are domestic terrorists and they must be taken down.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I think I said the last show is on with you. I don't care anymore. Send in the military. Well, then you're for the weapon. Yes, I am.
Don't care.
I don't care anymore. Send in Baz, send in Dale, send in Jan, send in Clay. I don't care. 8 years ago, you could have me going, well, this is the militarization of I don't care. You saw what they tried to do to Trump. You saw what they did to Kirk, and you saw them cheer after it. This is what they want. And that's just what they're doing to adults. What are they doing to kids? I don't care anymore. Send them in Black Hawk helicopters. I don't care. And if somebody wants to clip this and I got you, I will then say it again to your face. I don't care. Send it in. These people are fucking demons. These people are pedophiles. There is no living with them. There is no coexistence. They are trash. They are cancer. Get them out. I don't give a fuck. Excuse me.
Yeah, I agree with you. All right. With that last curse word, I will pray it out and pray for you. All right. I got to get going. So, Tommy, thanks for joining us. And a great guest. Gabe was awesome.
Yes, sir.
And you guys, if they're still on, you can run over. I don't know how to do it, but let's see if I can. Anyway, if you guys wanted to go over and see Viva Fry, say hi to him after we're done. All right, let's pray it out. Father God, thank you for just giving us the strength and the courage to keep fighting. Thank you, Father, for the blessings you put in our lives and the people that you put in our lives. I know, Father, we're in that place where it just feels like a little bit perilous at times, but we thank you for giving us hope. And I would just ask you to lift the burden off of people's shoulders and to protect people exclusively. I mean, if I'm talking about a person, Tina Peters, who is in jail right now because of these rotted radical demons in Colorado. Father, I just ask that you get it to a place where we can have justice prevail, and that those people that are responsible for stealing the voice of American people are held accountable. I say these things, Father, humbly in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. I'll see you later.
All right, Joe. Have a good
Take
flight.
care.
Guys, thank you so much. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.
All right, God bless you.
All right, brother. Take it
Hey,
easy.
play the song. Play the song out. Play the song out.
Play us out, Austin.
All right.
Thank you. All right. Take it easy, guys.
Rise up untamed in the heart of the fight where the wild ones roam. Joe Oltmann's calling, bringing truth back home. From conservative daily to this untamed fire, we shatter the silence, lifting spirits higher. No chains can hold us, no lies can prevail. Authentic and fearless on this rugged trail. Patriots gather under stars and stripes. Untamed nation, igniting the night. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah, untamed and wild, forever strong. Play it again all night long. Break the mold, chase the real. No more games, time to heal. Joe's voice leads the untamed crew. Truth matters through and through. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Tame nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave